Hi, hello, namaskara. Idu Prakash Karunadu. Welcome to Nam YouTube channel Biology with Prakash. So this is my first YouTube class, and today I am going to explain about the reproduction in flowering plants. So coming to the title of the topic, there are two main words, namely reproduction and flowering plants. So here my question is, what is reproduction? So yes, we know that reproduction is a biological process in which parents produce the offsprings. Reproduction is a biological process in which parents produce the offsprings, and these offsprings are similar to the parents. So which is known as reproduction. Reproduction can be divided into two types. So which are those? One is asexual reproduction and the second one is the sexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is the production of offsprings by their parents without union of male and female gametes. So whereas in sexual reproduction is the production of offsprings by their parents with the union of male and female gametes. So here male and female gametes used to form a diploid zygote. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved in the reproduction, whereas in sexual reproduction, here both or two parents are involved in the reproduction. So in asexual reproduction, only mitosis take place, whereas in sexual reproduction, both the mitosis and meiosis take place. So these are some differences between the sexual and asexual reproduction. So coming to the second main word, flowering plants. So what are flowering plants and which are flowering plants? So we know that flowering plants are also called as angiosperms. So as the name itself indicates, the angio and sperms means, angio means covering and sperms means the seeds. So the plants which produce the seed with the covering are known as angiosperm, or the plants which produce the seed with the seed coat are known as angiosperms, or they can also referred as flowering plants. So this is about the title of the topic. Let me move on to the process of reproduction in the flowering plants. So we are here only talking about the sexual reproduction, because asexual reproduction can be studied in other chapters. Here we are talking only about the sexual reproduction. So here, which is the sexual reproductive part of a plant? So yes, of course we know that it is a flower. So flower is the reproductive part of the plant. So flower basically consists of four main parts. So which are those? Petals, sepals, androecium and gynoecium. So these are the four important parts of the flower, and we are not going to talk about the petals and sepals. We are going to only focus on the androecium and gynoecium. So we know that androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower. So male reproductive part of the flower is an androecium, whereas gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower, which is gynoecium. So this is the gynoecium, this is gynoecium, and this is androecium. So ಈಗ gynoecium na zoom ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, so it consists of mainly three parts. So which are those? So a stigma, style and an ovary. So these are the three important parts of the gynoecium. The stigma, which serve as space for landing the pollen grain. So pollen grain land ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟಿಗ್ಮಾ. So whereas style serve as a channel to pass the pollen tube. So style ಏನಾಗಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ pollen tube ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. Okay, inside the ovary is an ovule. So inside the ovary is an ovule. Inside the ovule is an embryo sac. So inside the ovule is an embryo sac. Embryo sac has two ends, namely chelazal end and micropylar end. Embryo sac has two ends, namely chelazal end and micropylar end. So there are three cells present towards the chelazal end, which are known as antipodals, and there are two cells present towards the micropylar end are known as synergids. And there is a large egg cell present in between the two synergid, which is known as egg cell. There is a cell which is present between the two synergid, which is known as egg cell. So in the center of the embryo sac, there are two nuclei which are referred as secondary nuclei. So, so embryo sac has two ends, namely chelazal end and micropylar end. So there are three cells present towards the chelazal end are known as antipodals. There are two cells present towards the micropylar end are known as synergids. There is a large egg cell in between the two synergids, and in the center of the embryo sac is secondary nuclei. So this is about the structure of gynecium. So then we talk about the andrecium. So andrecium also consists of three main parts. So which are those? Andrecium consists of three main parts, namely a long filament, a short connective, and an anther. Okay, an anther which produces the pollen grain. So each pollen grain is a spherical or oval in structure which are enclosed by two wall layers. The outer one, which is known as exine, and the inner one, which is known as intine. The pollen grain is enclosed by two wall layers, namely exine and intine. The exine is interrupted at some region. That region is known as jumper. The exine is interrupted at some region which is known as jump pore, through which the intine develops the pollen tube. The pollen grain consists of two cells, namely generative cell and vegetative cell. The pollen grain consists of two cells, namely generative and vegetative cell. The generative cell later undergo one mitotic division to form two male gametes. The generative cell later undergo one mitotic division to form two male gametes, upon which fuses with the egg to form a diploid zygote. So this is about the andrecium. So andrecium consists of three regions, namely a long filament, a short connective, and an anther. The anther produces the pollen grain. Pollen grain is a spherical or oval in structure surrounded by two wall layers. So intine develops the pollen tube. So pollen grain consists of two cells, namely generative cell and vegetative cell. Generative cell divide to form two male gametes, upon which fuses with the egg to form diploid zygote. Okay, let me move on to the process of reproduction. The pre-required part is the pollination. We know that what the pollination is. The pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma. Pollination means the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower, which is known as pollination. So pollination can be done through various agents like wind, water, rain, or even through humans, birds, or insects, and etc. So they are known as pollinating agents. The second step is the pollen-pistil interaction. Here what happens after the pollination is the pollen grain land on the stigma. This stigma identifies the pollen grain whether it is of right type or the wrong type. Stigma identifies the pollen grain whether it is of right type or the wrong type. If it is of right type, it is known as compatible pollen grain, or if it is of wrong type, it is known as incompatible pollen grain. Here only compatible pollen grains are allowed to germinate on the stigma, where incompatible pollen grains are not allowed to germinate on the stigma. So this one is known as pollen-pistil interaction. Here what happens, stigma identifies whether the pollen grain is of right type or wrong type. It allows only right pollen grains to germinate on the stigma. The next step is the pollen germination. So what is pollen germination? So we know that the development of pollen tube, which is known as pollen germination. Development of pollen tube is known as pollen germination. How the pollen tube develops? Here the stigma secretes a secretion. The secretion is absorbed by the pollen grain. After the absorption, the pollen grain develops the pollen tube. So this is about the pollen germination. So here the stigma secretes a secretion. The secretion which includes water and sucrose. Secretion which includes water and sucrose. The sucrose solution which is absorbed by the pollen grain, and the pollen grain after absorption develops the pollen tube. So this is about the pollen germination. Okay, the next step is the entry of pollen tube through the ovule. The pollen tube enters through the ovule in either of the following three ways. So one is through the chalazal end. The pollen tube enters through the chalazal end, and the second chance is through the micropylar region, and the third chance through the integuments, that is in between the chalaza and micropylar region. If the pollen tube enters through the chalaza, then it is known as chalazogamy. If the pollen tube enters through the chalaza, then it is known as chalazogamy. If the pollen tube enters through the micropylar region, then it is known as porogamy. If the pollen tube enters through the or in between the chalaza and micropyle or through the integuments, then it is known as mesogamy. By this way, pollen tube enters through the ovule. So then the entry of pollen tube through the embryo sac. So how the pollen tube enters through the embryo sac? There are also three ways. One is in between the synergid and embryo sac wall. The pollen tube enters in between the synergid and the embryo sac wall. The second chance is in between the egg cell and the synergid. The third chance is through the synergid by degenerating it. So these are the three ways to enter the pollen tube. So entry of pollen tube through the embryo sac. We know that the structure of embryo sac, there are three antipolars towards the chalazal end, there are two synergids towards the micropylar end, and central one is the large egg cell, and there are two nuclei which are present at the center. They are known as polar nuclei. So pollen tube enters in between the synergid and the embryo sac wall, or in between the egg cell and the synergid, or through the synergid by degenerating it. Okay, let me come to the last step, the double fertilization. The fertilization in angiosperm is quite different from the normal fertilization. I already told that the pollen grain consists of two cells, namely generative cell and the vegetative cell. The generative cell in the pollen grain divide to form two male gametes. The generative cell in the pollen grain divide to form two male gametes, and those two male gametes are released into the embryo sac. Those two male gametes are released into the embryo sac by bursting the pollen tube. So one of the two male gamete fuses with the egg. So one male gamete fuses with the egg to form the diploid zygote. One male gamete fuses with the egg to form the diploid zygote. The other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus, form the primary endosperm nucleus. The other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus to form the primary endosperm nucleus, which is triploid in nature. So hence the fusion of male gamete with the secondary nucleus, which is known as trisomy. Trisomy, the fusion of male gamete with the egg, which is known as syngamy. Since the two fertilizations are involved in the fertilization, hence it is known as double fertilization. So hence we understand why it is called as double fertilization. One male gamete fuses with the egg to form diploid zygote, whereas the other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus, forming the primary endosperm nucleus. The zygote later developed into embryo. The zygote later developed into embryo. The primary endosperm nucleus later developed into nutritive tissue called as endosperm. So it developed into endosperm. Endosperm serves nutrients to the developing embryo. endosperms serve nutrient to the developing embryo. So do you understand the double fertilization? Double fertilization ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ pollen grain ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಸೆಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್. ಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಟು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಟೂ ಮೇಲ್ gametes. One of the two male gametes combine with the egg to form zygote. The other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus to form the primary endosperm nucleus. The zygote develop into embryo. The primary endosperm nucleus develop into endosperm. The endosperm serve as nutritive tissue for the developing embryo. So this is about the double fertilization. So okay, ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಮುಂದೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಇದು ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್, ಕರುನಾಡು.